I know it has been a minute since you guys have seen our unfortunately much delayed water cooling project featuring an i9-9900K and a 2080 Ti. In fact, I wouldn't blame you if you had just kind of forgotten about it up until this point. However, in the interim, since we last worked on this and we were waiting for a couple of parts to come into the office, AMD has had a series of huge releases that kind of probably will make people wonder why I am still building with a 9900K instead of something like a 3900X. Well, to be honest, I still do want to see what a system like this can do underwater and with a full custom loop, and the quick sync capabilities of the 9900K are going to be pivotal in the tasks that I do on a regular basis, which is primarily video editing in Adobe Premiere. So we have the parts in office that we need to move forward, and this is going to be the last video that you guys see before we reveal the finished product, but we're hoping to make some pretty serious progress today. So let's get right into it. So as you guys can see right here, we have the two components that have arrived in the office since the last time we had this on camera, and these are what we were waiting for in order to progress with the build. First of all, we have an awesome set of green, white, and black custom sleeved cables. These are full length cables, not extensions. These are from N-Sourced Customs. I've used N-Sourced a lot in the past, and Joey's always been really good to me and provided me with the best cables that I've ever used. I really like the paracord material. It's nice and flexible. The colors are bright, and obviously he does a fantastic sleeving job. The second thing to arrive was from a different Joe. This is Joe from Sanctum Sleeving, and he made us a custom acrylic distribution block with a DDC pump holder, and that's going to go on our back wall and provide all of the points for connection for our entire water cooling system. Now, by far the biggest sticking point as far as timelines go was this distribution block, but I don't blame Joe at all for the timeline because he does this all in his spare time with a full-time 9-to-5 job, and he also had to completely conceptualize, design, fabricate, and test this to make sure it wasn't just gonna spew coolant all over our beautiful new system. So I want to thank Joe for sending this over, and he did provide us with some interesting footage of how this kind of block is made. I was actually kind of curious myself as to what goes into the design and fabrication process, and if you guys are not, that's understandable, and you guys can skip to this timestamp right up here if you want to skip over this little montage of time-lapse photography that Joe took of this being produced. So it's obviously a really interesting, really complicated process that takes quite a long time. Not to mention the fact that when everything is fully milled out, you do have to do all the wet sanding and assembly and make sure that you don't crack the acrylic with a screw that's torqued down too tight, and you want to make sure that the block isn't going to leak at all, and you want to make sure that the DDC pump mount is correct. It takes a lot to make one of these, especially if you're just doing a one-of product. So again, Joe, thank you very much for putting the time into this. But without further ado, let's get this stuff into the case. Let's install our power supply, let's install our storage, let's install our memory, and then start planning out our loop. Well, I've hit, I guess, an unfortunate and fairly significant snag, although I guess this could be remedied. So here is the distro block. It's in the case, right? And it's supposed to sit, let me back up a little bit. It's supposed to sit something like this, okay? It's elevated off of the back because the pump mount is in the back. So the pump mount is back here. So the way you mount it, or the way that Joe designed it to mount, is with spacers. So the screw comes through the back of the case in these pre-drilled or pre-slotted holes. And then the spacer goes on this side of the case and spaces the block an appropriate distance away to give clearance for the pump, right? So the problem is, first of all, the spacers don't actually give enough clearance. There's a little bit of overlap there. The spacers are not quite long enough. And the second problem is that the holes that are back here for mounting are, you know, there's one there, and then there's some down here as well. But they don't line up with the slots on the case. So if I line this up and show you guys, so I guess it's kind of hard to hold this at the same time. Hold on, maybe I could, okay, good. So here, back there, is a hole, is a mounting hole, and then there is the slot. So if I go up, or maybe down, it's hard to capture. It's off by probably, I don't know, maybe a centimeter or so, maybe 7 or 8 millimeters, almost a centimeter between the mounting hole or the mounting point for on the block, which is back there, and then the slot. And they're all like that. They're all off by about that much. So unless I want to drill through the case, which I mean I could do, but I don't want to do that because, especially with a setup like this, where it's going to be visible, we have a clear acrylic panel here. If I drill through this, you're going to see it. And also, there is a product already available that fits this. I'm just going to go ahead and order the other one. I'm sorry, Joe. I know you put a lot of effort into this. I will be talking to you offline about it, so you know, hopefully we could get this resolved at some point. But I'm gonna go ahead and order the other one, and it should be here, I guess, in a couple days, and hopefully we can proceed. Well, I guess that's the end of this video. That's a little disappointing. I've ordered the other distro block from Performance PCs. It should be here in a couple of days. And the next video that you see is going to be the finished product. So that was the plan. We're going to have 4 videos here. The next one would be the 4th. I think the next one will be the 4th, hopefully. And that will be everything put together,
the loop all run, some nice B-roll shots, and then some performance data. So we're still going to be on schedule for the same number of videos. It's just that I can't go as far today as was originally planned, because this is all I could do right now. So that's disappointing. I did talk to Joe about it, so he's aware of the issue, and he said he'll be correcting it, I guess, for future productions if he ever does one of these again. And it sucks because I know how much time he put into this, but it's just not correct, and I need it to be right for this project. So yeah, that's where we're gonna stop. And I mean, you could see that I mean, hopefully it's gonna look pretty good with the cabling in there and all, and the distro block on the side. Looks pretty good, but it just needs a little extra. A little extra time anyway. So we'll get it done next time, and until then, hope you don't hate me for delaying this a little bit more, but I don't know, I feel like we're so close. We're so close, and we'll get there eventually. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Sorry for this abbreviated update, and I'll see you next time.